2 million people just watched Christopher Nolan's The Odyssey, full movie, high definition, for free on X. What followed was a four-way collision: a real-time leak, a studio scrambling for takedowns, the platform's own owner trashing the film publicly, and a second weekend that defied every prediction. $87 million. Piracy was supposed to kill a moment like this. What it revealed instead changes how you see cinema's future. On Saturday, July 25, at exactly 2:25 p.m. Pacific Time, a single post appeared on X. The caption read, "Someone uploaded the Odyssey full movie on X." This was no grainy theater recording. It was a pristine, high-definition copy of Christopher Nolan's entire 3-hour epic. The traffic arrived like a flash flood. Within 2.5 hours, the post's view counter surged past 2.1 million. Millions of viewers streamed a major Hollywood event directly on their phones, completely free, with the tap of a thumb. Then, the screen went black. Roughly 2 hours and 53 minutes after upload, the video died, replaced by a gray screen and a copyright takedown notice. X suspended the hosting account entirely, but the containment line did not hold. By Sunday morning, a second user uploaded another copy. This version was heavily compressed, a muddy, lower quality rip, and the internet's appetite remained strong. In less than 2 hours, this second post pulled nearly 50,000 views before the platform's security team could locate and purge it. In less than 24 hours, the standard theatrical release weekend transformed. The story of ticket lines and concession sales became a chaotic, real-time piracy event playing out on millions of handheld screens, and the industry was watching it happen live. As the original leaks vanished, a digital game of whack-a-mole began. The centralized threat dissolved into a chaotic cloud of clone uploads. Users across the globe began re-uploading the file under slightly altered names, forcing Universal's security partners to hunt down hundreds of individual posts. But the flood of files was highly deceptive. Internet prank culture quickly weaponized the confusion, filling search feeds with bait-and-switch files. Millions of clicks promising the full 3-hour film delivered nothing more than a rickroll, sending eager viewers to Rick Astley's Never Gonna Give You Up. This wave of fake copies added a layer of digital noise, frustrating both viewers and the studio's enforcement trackers. Universal Pictures, suddenly forced to defend its crown jewel on a social media feed, adopted a sharp legal posture. The studio issued a public warning, stating they were initiating takedown protocols and would pursue all appropriate remedies to protect their content and intellectual property rights. For Hollywood, the situation exposed a major infrastructure vulnerability. Industry reporters noted that X was a notoriously difficult environment for rapid content suppression, leaving rights holders to struggle against a decentralized platform. The social network was no longer just a digital theater lobby. It had become an active, unpredictable plot point in the movie's release, proving that platform architecture could disrupt a film's rollout as easily as any physical competitor. While Universal scrambled to police X, the platform's own proprietor ran a parallel campaign against the film. Elon Musk had been targeting Christopher Nolan's adaptation since January 2026, publicly mocking the casting of Lupita Nyong'o as Helen of Troy and Elliot Page as Sinan. Musk claimed Nolan was desecrating the original text to satisfy Academy Award diversity requirements, posting, "Who specifically is the asshole who added DEI lies to Academy Awards eligibility?" On July 22nd, just 3 days before the high-definition leak hit his platform, Musk took his criticism a step further. He announced that his own artificial intelligence tool, Grok Imagine, would produce a full-length, historically accurate movie of the Odyssey by the end of the year, sharing a 3-minute AI-generated preview clip as proof. He even publicly offered to fund an alternative production, agreeing to a user's proposal to hand director Mel Gibson $100 million for a traditional adaptation. This placed the leak in a peculiar position. The network hosting the pirated copy of Hollywood's biggest blockbuster belonged to a billionaire actively working to undermine the project while promoting his own AI alternative. The issue expanded past copyright enforcement or loose moderation filters. It became a direct contest of cultural power, where the platform's owner used his massive personal account to devalue the theatrical film, even as his own servers distributed it for free. The theatrical market delivered its own hard rebuttal. In its second weekend, the Odyssey pulled in $87 million domestically. That represented a drop of only 30% from its massive opening weekend. For a movie supposedly compromised by a high-definition leak, this was an unprecedented hold. It marked the third-best sophomore weekend hold for any $100 million opener in film history, trailing only Wicked and Top Gun: Maverick. Among R-rated films, it secured the second highest sophomore weekend of all time, sitting just behind Deadpool and Wolverine. By Sunday night, the film's domestic total reached $286 million, while the worldwide total climbed to $639 million. These numbers shattered the long-standing industry assumption that a viral leak would instantly cannibalize ticket sales. Instead, the box office proved that certain films operate on an entirely different scale of consumer demand. The high-definition rip on social media might have been free, but audiences still queued for hours at local theaters to buy their way in. They weren't just buying access to a story, they were paying for the scale, the sound, and the shared environment of a premium auditorium. The market had delivered its verdict. You could copy the file, but you could not replicate the event. Subscribe to the channel for more deep dives into the business of Hollywood. The resilience of the Odyssey at the box office traces back to a fundamental technical choice. Christopher Nolan designed the film as the first narrative feature shot entirely with 70mm IMAX cameras. This choice transformed ordinary theatrical screenings into highly anticipated events. At flagship venues like AMC's Lincoln Square 13, theaters ran around-the-clock showtimes to satisfy the continuous, sold-out demand for large-format prints. IMAX screenings ended up driving a massive share of the ticket revenue, proving that the physical scale of the presentation was something a compressed file on a mobile screen simply could not replicate. Alongside the projection format, the star-studded cast turned the release into a massive cultural draw. Audiences lined up to see Matt Damon's portrayal of Odysseus, Anne Hathaway as Penelope, and Tom Holland as Telemachus. This star power connected heavily with younger viewers, with exit polls showing that 58% of the audience was under 35. The momentum also benefited from perfect theatrical timing. Holland's return in the next Spider-Man film was scheduled to hit theaters the very next weekend, creating a rare window where a single actor dominated the midsummer box office. For these younger ticket buyers, the theater offered a communal experience and a physical destination. A low-resolution leak on a social media feed could never duplicate the true product. Today, the battlefield between Silicon Valley and Hollywood has shifted. The Odyssey proved that while a platform can host a leak, it cannot replicate a spectacle. In an era of infinite feeds, true cinematic scale remains event-proof. Subscribe for more industry breakdowns.